shelter to us over the years and over the last couple of weeks in particular, a shelter in the time of storm. Last night I mentioned that we were under a tornado watch, and when I went home from here, as we were standing outside talking and whatnot, we were watching the weather and the storm. The lightning was getting closer, and my dad called, and we decided it's time to go. So I went down to the house and turned on the weather, and the weatherman was saying that, for those of you who know where Jones is, and 63rd Street is the one that goes right here by the campus. If you take it 26 miles west, you'll get to the Oklahoma Conference office on the same street. But anyway, 3 miles south of Jones on 63rd Street, they had circulation. Today? Last night. And so God really protected us from the storm. So let's sing hymn number 528, A Shelter in the Time of Storm.
Oh
shelter in the time of storm, that you are the rock that we can stand on and that we can build our hope on. Thank you for the Sabbath day that we've spent together, and now as we come together tonight to close this Sabbath day, we ask for your presence to be here in a very special way. May we be uplifted to start this new week with you, and we thank you for this in Jesus' name. Amen. Tonight, our program will be together, the bell choir and the messengers. And we are going to start with the messengers, so if you guys want to go ahead and come forward. They'll do a couple songs, and then we'll do a couple, we'll just go back and forth and worship God this evening. experience in Cuba as we go through our program this evening. And so I asked several of the young people if they would share just a short little bit about the experience and what it was like for them. So we're going to start with Sammy.
Okay, so first of all, I really enjoy the bell choir. I think it's super fun playing. I was kind of sad coming back from Cuba not being able to play bells because we had left them in Cuba. But yeah, when we went to Cuba, we played the bells and it had a huge impact on the people over there. Like, they were super impressed. They had never seen anything like this before. So like after the concerts, they were like all coming up to us and wanted to try playing the bells. And we had the opportunity to play with the children as well for a particular song. And yeah, it was just really a blessing to be able to bless these people with the Ministry of Music, more specifically bells. So that's why Mrs. Holling had the impression to leave the bells in Cuba to be able to continue blessing. And we still were blessed to be able to play the bells for graduation. We rented some bells, so that was a blessing.
I appreciate that. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the things he said as we go. But I just wanted to mention that last year at graduation, we graduated 9 bell ringers. So if you count how many people are up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I guess, 13. That was way more than half of the bell choir. That's pretty big. So we started this year with 9 new ringers. 9 new ringers. And, you know, they have really worked hard this year. Like it before. They had never experienced anything like it before. And they just thought it was the most gorgeous music. Even the communists came to hear it. So at church on one Sabbath, well, I guess it was the only Sabbath we did a concert in church, the thought just came to my mind, what if we leave the bells in Cuba so that they can use them to continue reaching people for Christ? So we kind of pursued that idea, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later, but he said we came back from Cuba without bells, and we haven't had bells until this past Thursday afternoon. And when we got them, I mean, I was just agonizing. I really wanted to have bells for graduation. What could we do? It would just be so, you know, but we hadn't, you know, we didn't have the money to get them, and we did have some people who had donated, so I thought maybe we could rent bells. I had no clue if you could rent bells, but sure enough, we could rent bells, and so we were able to do that, and get them here, by Thursday, but that only gave us, so we haven't played bells since March. And that gave us only 2 rehearsals to be able to play bells. So the first song that we're going to play for you, we would have, had we had bells, we would have spent the time that it took to really get it ready. So tonight we're going to invite you to one of our practice sessions. And just let you know that I wanted to play this song because it's the favorite of one of the 2 seniors, of 2 of the seniors, not one of the 2. Of 2 of the seniors, and those 2 are Magdalene and Nikki. And this is the song they chose as their favorite. And so I wanted to play it tonight, so welcome to our rehearsal. And we're going to play this song. It is, He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. get a new set of bells so that they're not like your old set of bells. So they're like, do you have any tools to adjust them, right? Because now some of them are harder to ring than they were, and so when they ring them, there's nothing, or it's not very much. So it's like getting used to a whole new instrument again. And no, I didn't have any tools. I gave them away when we left them in Cuba. And when we were unpacking them on Thursday, somebody said, do you have any mallets? And we said, no, we left the mallets in Cuba. So now what are we going to do? All we got was 4 octaves of bells, and we had 4 octaves plus 2. So I just began searching Friday. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I called this church and that church and left messages and called a couple of colleges to see if they had bell choirs and we could borrow something from them. Well, you notice that we do have mallets. And thank Dr. Henson from Oklahoma Baptist University. He's the University Ringers director. And he said, I've never been asked that before. And so I met him over there Friday morning. And he gave us 2 big bags of mallets. And that morning in rehearsal, one of the bells that we rented, the clapper came out. I was like, are we supposed to play bells or not? And you can't do without one bell. It's just like, it's just missing, you know? It's not like taking one voice out of a 10-person alto section. You know, and yeah, you'll miss it, but you'll still have the note there. But here you won't have the note. So he had 2 octaves of 5-octave bells, so I said, could we borrow the G4? And while we're at it, could we have the E3 and the F3 so that we can complete what we had? And he said yes. So we're going to play, the next song for you is You Are My Hiding Place. It was a favorite of many people, not particularly a senior. And I forgot to say that we were dedicating that last song to Nikki and to Magdalene. So I've really enjoyed having them in bell choir. They've worked hard, and it's been a blessing for that. So You Are My Hiding Place.
I actually don't want to sing this song.
Why is that?
I don't believe it. So like I kind of think like following Jesus's path is a hard path. Am I right? Right?
That's right.
I got witnesses.
The path is hard, but Jesus is carrying you through, man. It's easier.
Is it?
It is.
It's a lot of trials, though.
Think about the end reward. There's
see what
nothing
you're
for
saying.
anything else.
Thank you. As someone who understands.
Totally. Come on, man.
Okay,
You can't just go this other direction, man.
I go. Okay. Yeah. Let's just go. I'm good.
Now don't you let nobody
Turn you around, turn you around, turn you around, turn you around. Keep on to Galilee.
Now don't you let nobody
Turn you around, turn you around, turn you around, turn you around. Keep on to Galilee. I would not be a liar, Lord, and I'll tell you the reason why. For I am so afraid my Lord might call me, and I wouldn't be ready to die.
Now don't you let nobody
Turn you around, turn you around, turn you around, turn you around. Keep on to Galilee.
Now don't you let nobody
Turn you around, turn you around, turn you around, turn you around. Keep on to Galilee. I would not be a backslider, Lord, and I'll tell you the reason why. For I am so afraid my Lord might call me, and I wouldn't be ready to die.
Now don't you let nobody
Turn you around, turn you around, turn you around, turn you around. Keep on to Galilee.
Now don't you let nobody
Turn you around, turn you around, turn you around, turn you around. Keep on to Galilee. Keep on to Galilee. Keep on to Galilee.
So, I hope that none of you want to turn around. The road may be hard. The reward is all worth it. Heaven is cheap enough. Amen? So our next song will be Just a Little Talk with Jesus. And, through those hard times where we think, I kind of want to turn around and go a different way, just a little talk with Jesus makes it right.
I once was.
Sure about that? Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's do it.
I once was lost in sin, but Jesus took me in. And then a little light from heaven took my soul. It bathed my heart in love and wrote my name above. And just a little talk with Jesus makes it whole. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Tell him all about our troubles. He will hear our faintest cry. He will answer by and by. When you feel a little prayer wheel turning and no little fire is burning, you will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. I may have doubts and fears, my eyes may fill with tears, but Jesus is a friend who watches day and night. I go to him in prayer, he knows my every care, and just a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our troubles. He will hear our faintest cry, he will answer by and by. When you feel a little prayer will turn in, oh, a little fire is burning, you will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our trouble. He will hear our faintest cry, and he will answer by and by. When you feel a little prayer will turn in, and you know a little fire is burning, you will find a little talk with Jesus. It makes it right. It makes it right.
Okay. I always enjoy listening to the messengers sing. It is a real blessing. So we're going to move to a couple of Christmas songs that we'd like to share with you that were a part of our Christmas program. The first one is a favorite of Ellen. Ellen, how many years have you been in bell choir? 1.5. 1.5. So Ellen joined partway through last year, and it's been a blessing to have her in bell choir. And we're going to dedicate this song, Christmas Joy, to Ellen. Elise share just a little bit from our trip?
So one of the things I noticed was, yeah, we were seeing the flyer and some people recorded the picture. I was really surprised. They had a lot of phones in Cuba. Anyway, but when the bell choir would play, it seemed like everybody was recording. They were just so fascinated. I was talking to one of the guys after the concert, and he's like, "How does this work?" He was like looking at the bells, and he's like, "How does it make such, like," he was not expecting the sound that they made. First of all, he didn't even know what these were. And so almost everybody was like that in Cuba. They were just so fascinated by the bells. And so when Mrs. Holland said that we were going to leave the bells in Cuba, I was like, wow, praise God, this is such a blessing. It's going to be such a blessing to the Cubans because it's a great witnessing opportunity because nobody in Cuba has bells. And it's just so unique. And so I think the Adventist seminary there in Cuba is going to have a really unique opportunity there in Cuba.
So as he mentioned, the first thing was, well, who would we leave them with, and how would that work? So I began to talk to Christopher Beeson, who was there with us, helping us in our time there in our mission. And he suggested, why don't you think about the Adventist Seminary, which was in Havana. We were in Camagüey, and the seminary was in Havana. And unbeknownst to us at that time, they actually were developing a school of music. And their purpose for their school of music was exactly what we wanted to give the bells for, and that was to spread the gospel. And we didn't know that at the time, so it gave them an ensemble that they could work with to spread the gospel. We're going to play another Christmas song. It's called Sing We Now of Christmas.
There we go. How many times have you had that little talk with Jesus and God has carried you through? Every time He shows you that He does care about you, eh? Isn't that the truth? Well, our final song is There's No Other Name So Sweet as Jesus. No one cared so much for me as He has done.
There's no other name so sweet as Jesus. No one ever cared so much for me. Jesus shed His precious blood to save me. No one ever cared so much for me.
When I'll see Him face to face, up in glory, I will marvel at His nail-scarred feet.
Nail-scarred feet.
And I'll thank Him for the pain He suffered, because
He cared so much for me.
there's
No one cares, no one cares, no one cares like Jesus.
There's no
friend so precious to me.
Who will walk,
Carry your cross, carry your cross
to
Calvary. No one ever cared so much for me.
There's
No one cares, no one cares, no one cares like Jesus.
There's no
friend so precious to me. Carry your cross, carry your cross
to
Calvary. No one ever cared so much for me. No one ever cared so much for me. For me.
So we're struggling a little bit with our E3 bell that we borrowed. The clapper head is just disintegrating. And so, what's that? Yeah, the clapper head is just cracked. And so we tried to put something around it to keep it together. So we're hoping it'll finish out the program tonight. And Carolina, you were going to share.
So I thought I'd just share some of my favorite memories from the Cuba trip with the bells. So I think it was our first concert, Miss Helen, when we had the bells on the floor. So we were at this church. It was like we came late because I don't know the flight and everything, and I don't know, just traveling in Cuba takes a long time. So we came really late. It was like 10:30 at night, close to 10:30. Yeah, the concert started at 10:30, and yeah, so it was like really late at night for a concert. And so we were all tired. We'd been traveling since like midnight the night before, and or something like that, yeah. And so it was Yeah. And then the church was really small, and so we didn't have place for the tables. So I think it was this table was up on the floor, and the pads were just sitting there. And so we were playing this song, I think. And yeah, we were sitting on the floor playing bells, and I'll never forget that because it was just so strange, but yet interesting at the same time. So yeah, that was really prominent. And then also, I remember, I think it was the same concert, I'm not sure, but we did it for a couple of concerts. The kids would come up for The Wise and the Foolish Man, and we would play with them, and it was just so cute because they enjoyed it so much, even though it was kind of hard to play with them sometimes because like they wouldn't want to play at the right times or something. But it was just really fun, and that they could be a part of it, and it just made it more interesting and fun. So yeah.
So yeah, we'd never played in so many different configurations as we learned to play in there. So we're going to play this song, and the words to it, as not a hymn that I was familiar with prior to learning it with bell choir, but it's called "Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven," and it has some awesome words. If at some time you have the time to look it up, I'm not going to take time now. But take it up and look it up and read the words. They're very a blessing. I love the ending of that piece, and it's fun to watch Pravi play it. The next piece that we will share is Pravi's favorite. Pravi has been in bell choir for how many years, Pravi? 4, yes. And a couple of weeks ago, he shared at Friday Night Vespers, wasn't able to be there, but I heard about it. And one of the things that was shared with me was, one of the things he said was a reason why he came to Oklahoma Academy. And the reason, or one of the reasons was, do you remember? It was bell choir. It was bell choir. And at that point in time, I had pretty well resigned myself to the fact that we weren't going to have bells at graduation this year. It just wasn't going to happen. We hadn't raised enough money. It just wasn't going to happen. And so I just kind of just said, that's just the way it's going to be. We're not going to have them. And when I heard that, I thought, oh man, we got to have bells for Pravi. This is the last time for him to play. Not that we didn't want to have it for anybody else, okay? But after 4 years in bell choir, and it's been fun to have him in bell choir. I've really enjoyed it. He's done a great job, and he's grown a lot as a ringer through the years. And so that was kind of part of what I guess kind of prodded me on to try to figure out how can we have bells at graduation. So it's been exciting. The last song we're going to play for you tonight, as like I said, is Pravi's favorite. It's called Celebration Fanfare. And I look forward to the time that we're going to have this huge bell choir in heaven. And everybody's going to ring bells and sing, and it's just going to be an awesome celebration as we worship God together in heaven. So following this song, by the way, if anybody is interested in helping us towards getting bells, you're more than welcome to come see me afterwards. We're not going to take up a formal offering tonight, but we would really appreciate it. Also tomorrow morning, they will be showing at 8 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock in the evening, and then at 11 o'clock in the evening, our interview at 3ABN that tells the story of our giving the bells away, and they'll be also asking to raise money at that time as well. So keep that in prayer, and if you would have the opportunity or the time to see that, and you can take the time to see that, I think you'll appreciate that interview as well. It's not just with us, it is with Henry Stubbs, who is the leader of World Youth Group, who is the group that we went with on the mission trip to Cuba. So he was a part of that video, that interview as well, and you will be blessed by it. So here it is, the last bell song of the year, Celebration Fanfare. Somehow I lost my music. Close our program. This section of our program this evening, I'd like to invite Michael and Sarah and Provi and Celeste up to sing a song, and Jonathan and Wong on the piano. Beautiful piece. I'm sure you'll recognize it. The Prayer.
Before we begin, I would like, this is the prayer. So I'd like this to be our prayer, to heal a world in suffering and to be true Christians and live up to the name that we are called. nuestro ser. Let this be our prayer. Let this be our prayer. Just like every child. Just like every child needs to find a place. Guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe. En la fe de quien hay acceso y no hay. Siento que Jesus
Thank you. That was beautiful. Sarah, Jonathan, and Michael graduated last year, and of course, Celeste will be graduating next year, and Pravi this year. And thank you to Corey for working together with our Messenger Quartet this year, and being a blessing to us in that way, and for bringing your equipment tonight. And Corey has made several CDs. And so if you'd be interested, contact him. Before we close this part of our program, we want to show just a 1-minute video of a Cuba teaser. Our communications department young people have, as a part of their education in the communications department, each of them have put together a 5-minute section to a Cuba documentary. So this is just kind of the teaser of it. They haven't quite finished it yet. They will be posting it when it comes out, and this gives you just a little bit of an idea of what it will be.
You can only prepare so much. Before we knew it, we were there. For many, the reality didn't hit them till we were on the plane. God is all about taking us beyond what we can prepare for. In July, it was just an idea. By August, we were going. It was final. The stubs came from World Youth Group in January of 2019, and as the date of our departure grew nearer, tensions arose between the US and Cuba. Visas were harder to get, and then we heard that the stubs' request for visas was denied. They were rejected from entering. We followed the action. It's authentic, real people as missionaries for Christ. This story is about overcoming obstacles. It's about how God worked with 6 groups in 6 cities to convert 46 souls and bring hundreds more closer to Christ. It's about trusting in God through the storms, and it's about seeing the great controversy come to life, which means it's about you.
I'm looking forward to that. So when it comes out, hopefully they're going to let everybody know. And I have one more thing before we close this part of our program. I'm sorry, I forgot about it. I see it sitting right here. So while we were in Cuba, several of our young people were baptized. 2 of them were the evangelistic presenters. The other one was working, I believe, with the children's. And I happened to be the adult group leader where we were, and Cameron was the speaker. And he was baptized as well. And as we were afterwards giving, we had taken Spanish mission study Bibles to give to all of the baptismal candidates, or those that were baptized there. And as we were doing that, of course, he got to the time when he was to sign his baptismal certificate, and we didn't have a Bible to give him, which I didn't think he wanted one in Spanish anyway. Well, we did have one. We could have given him one, but one in Spanish probably wasn't what he would have wanted. So I told him and everybody there that we would make sure that he got a Bible when he got back to the States. Well, I didn't think it was right just to give him one if we didn't give the other baptismal candidates a Bible as well. So I would like to present them with their Bible tonight. If you haven't seen this before, this is the Mission Study Bible that Oklahoma Academy publishes. It is the most exhaustive Ellen White commentary Bible that you can find on the market, with tons of Bible study helps and all kinds of other things in it. So this Bible, I have to look in it to see whose it is. So the Bibles have been signed with a message from your group leader. So this Bible is for Gogo. I believe the next one is for Cameron, because no, it's not. I'm sorry. It's for Magdalene. And the last one is for Cameron. I don't know if you noticed when I took it out of the box, you might not be able to see them. Theirs are black, and his is the chestnut one. And then there is a blue and silver as well. Sorry. All right, now we're going to stand for prayer, and then we're going to continue with the second half of our program. So let's stand. There is a second half. Look at that, a surprised expression. All right, let's bow our heads for prayer. Father in heaven, we're thankful that we can worship such an almighty, powerful, loving God. Thank you that we could be here tonight to close your Sabbath together with music and praises to you for the many blessings that you give us and the opportunities you give us to serve you and how you sustain us in our work for you. Thank you for the young people, and thank you for especially the seniors. And we just pray that as we move into the second part of our program, that you will continue to bless. We thank you for that, and we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated. I had talked to Pravi about this before, and are you ready with it, Pravi? Yeah? Okay. So probably we should lift the lid of the piano a little bit. Is that going to be like really not possible? That's going to be a problem. Okay. Can you put it up on the speaker? So I had the privilege of teaching girls' PE, well, part of girls' PE, and that was the weight training part of it this year. And we would meet at 6:30 in the morning right here in the music building, and we would do exercises together. And almost every morning that I came, you know, somewhere between 6:20 and 6:30, Pravi was faithfully here in the music building playing. And he's really developed his piano talent through the years that he's been here, but especially this year as he's been the accompanist. And probably tell us the name of this piece because I don't remember. I'm sorry. Okay, Rachmaninoff Prelude in D minor. And so this is what I would come to in the morning, and he would be playing this, and I would just sit down and listen, and it was so wonderful. So he's going to share it with you tonight.
but I am going to give out an award to several people. Before I give the award out, I'd like to, I don't know if they picked me to give this award out because this is actually a pet peeve of mine. Being in the military for 8 years, if you were 5 minutes early, you were late. And so I think we should have used that criteria to give these awards out, but we didn't. Now, with that said, though, I'm thinking about changing. I want to start a petition to change the name of the award. Can you guys guess the name of the student that said, I'm trying to find it, but I can paraphrase it, I already read it. He says he enjoys hearing, hurry up, blank, everyone is waiting for you. So I'm thinking maybe we should change the award to the Stephen Song Award. This is the Perfect Attendance Award. You're not on here, Stephen, don't worry. So I'm going to call you by name. Please come up and get your certificate. The criteria for this is having 0 tardies and 0 unexcused absences. We might change that next year, though. Okay. So the first, and I'm going in alphabetical order. So Ellen. Nikki. Cheris. Chandler. Angela. Juliet. The other Juliet. Katia. Kim Hoy. Christy. Wang. See if you guys can guess who this is. Victoria. Mana. Ruth. Jaguna. All right, Mrs. Crittenden, we're gonna have to check his records when we get back. There's a lot of surprised. Last but not least, Mr. Figueroa. Nathaniel. So we are going to show a video now. We are showing, yes, the yearbook video, the year-end video. Yes. So we are going to be showing a video.